Welcome back to the Football Exponential Show. I'm Chika today, and today we'll be discussing or reviewing the end of the season. It's been a very roller coaster season, Premier League season, when you see lots of teams who started well, started struggling, and some who were doing well now started doing worse. Because at the moment now, you have three teams. England has five spots for the Champions League because of the good performances of the likes of Chelsea, Manchester United, and Liverpool in the Champions League and the European competition. So, with the last games of the season, you have Newcastle, Chelsea, and Aston Villa on the same points, 66 points. So now, and you have Manchester City who are behind with 65 points and Nottingham Forest with 65 points. I don't think I can remember any season that have gone down to the wire. And the irony of the whole situation is that Liverpool was like they had a free goal at the Premier League trophy. Like everybody fell off. Like almost everybody. It was so easy for them to clinch the Premier League title. But now you look at this, the third, fourth, fifth, sixth is a is so close. You look at Manchester City with two games outstanding. You look at Forest. It's never been this close. I don't think. Maybe I can't remember when it was this close. Towards the end of the season, and now what are the odds? Newcastle are 22. I have plus 22 goal difference. Chelsea plus 20. Aston Villa plus 9. Now, Villa is, to me, I understand Espirito Santo has done a good job this season in the Premier League, like he has done because Nottingham Forest was one of the teams for relegation. But what Nuno has done is he has taken them from the verge of relegation. At the point they were, I think, second or third in the league. They've struggled lately. They've had some bad games, but that doesn't take away from what he has done. And right now, Nottingham Forest have had a good season because they've qualified for European competition for the first time in 30 years, and that is massive. Like that is massive. So, however the season ends, it shouldn't take away from the good work he has done or from whatever he has done. The problem is when you are so high, they were on the verge of they were challenging Liverpool at the time for the Premier League. We all knew they were not going to win the Premier League, but they were up there. So when you fall from there to qualify for European Championship for the Europa League or even worse still for the Conference League, is as a human being is good, but the fans will still have something to say because that's a total collapse. Because if you've checked the loss of very key games that they shouldn't have lost. Now on the last day you have on the other hand, Unai Emery to me is my player of the season. And the reason why I say player of the season, before beginning of the season, I tipped Villa to go and qualify for Champions League. But I said the reason why I feel they wouldn't be able to do it is because of the champ. We are playing in the Champions League. They'll be so busy in the Champions League that it will affect their league form, and it happened. Now I said in place of Villa, I said beginning of this season, I said it was Chelsea that will take that place. I tipped um Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, with Chelsea making up the fourth team. I didn't see Newcastle challenging because they had a very bad season last season. I didn't think they would go this far. Isaac has been on fire, 24 league goals. He's something else. He's been impressive. But now I tipped Chelsea because I felt that Chelsea had a big squad to cope with the the Conference League. So I felt that the Conference League would be a distraction for them because they had a big squad. They can play a totally different 11 and then play another 11 in the Premier League. And it nearly happened. But Chelsea, from December, they had a very, very bad season. From December till, I think, lately they've won 4 games in a row, which has been an encouragement. Now, let's go. Newcastle, on the last day, are playing at home to Everton. The problem is the first leg of this game ended in 0-0 draw. but that was back in the other stadium in Goodison Park, and I think it was Sean Dyche who was the manager. And we all know how defensive Sean Dyche is. Now, look at it this way: if you look at Everton, they are extremely difficult to break down. Because when you look at these young managers, they make very easy tactical decisions or tactical setup look very, very complicated. Some of them are so easy, like David Moyes have shown he knows how to set his team up. Because if you look at him, the back line is solid. There's no play now from the back. Pickford, to me, is underrated as regards how he plays, how he lumps the ball from the back, from defense to attack. He knows how to target them. And now they've had Beto. Calvin Ray wasn't performing. His contract is running at the end of the season, running out at the end of the season. I don't know if they are going to. I don't think they are going to renew him. He has been injured. But if you look at the last game, Beto didn't score a goal. But you saw the way he went close. He saw the way his positioning. He was off like twice. But the way he runs to put the ball in the back of the net, is a very good striker for Everton. You look at the supporting cast. Dakore's current contract is expiring. I think they will renew him. I can't think of them losing him. They play 4-2-3-1. The two in the center is Ghana, who was Man United reject, together with Idrissi Gueye. They are very, very solid. The two are extremely solid. You look at the front, they have Ndeye, the Senegalese, who was a high profile signing for Marseille for 20 million, but it didn't work out, and he's now at Everton for 17 million. He scored 9 goals. He's having a very good season, but he hasn't. And the funny thing is, he doesn't even have one assist. You look at Ndeye on this side, you look at Dakore on this side, and McLean on this side. So they're very difficult to break down, extremely difficult to break down, and they press as a unit. Against Newcastle, it's going to be a very difficult game for Newcastle because Isak had a groin injury which made him miss the game against Arsenal. I don't think he'll play on that day. You look at going down the Isak, going from Isak to Callum Wilson is a big downgrade. It's not an upgrade at all. You look at Newcastle also, they don't create lots of chances. They kill you on the counter. You look at Everton, they play transition football. So it's going to be a very boring game on that day. The both of them will come out to sit back and soak pressure. And the onus will be on Newcastle to attack Everton. And when the onus is on Newcastle to attack Everton, expect Everton to break out in transition, which they do very, very well and which they are so good at. Now, if Everton was the one who was expected to attack Newcastle, it would have made the match a little bit easier for Newcastle. But you are expecting Newcastle, who are not very, very creative. You look at Guemeres, you look at Guemeres in the center of the field. You look at Jolinton is injured right now. You look at Tonali. They don't know how to break down stubborn defenses. All they are good at is playing transition football. So on that day, it's going to be a very difficult game. Newcastle have won 6 out of their last 6 home games, so they have a very solid home record at home. Then Everton have won 5 of their 18 away games. They've been very poor away, but most of those games have ended in draws. So me, I'm tipping a draw for this game or a 1-0 win for Newcastle, but I'll rather go with a draw for this game. You come to Chelsea. Chelsea, if there's any team Chelsea will not be happy playing is Nottingham Forest. Why is the reason? Because Nottingham Forest on that day are going to pack the bus and expect Chelsea to attack them. That is difficult for Chelsea. Chelsea play better when you attack them. Although Chelsea's defense is not all that sophisticated or is not all that solid. Chelsea have a very bad goalkeeper. Robert Sanchez, to me, is not even a good premier. He's a very good shot stopper, extremely good stopping shots. But apart from that, he's not good. He's not confident. He makes a lot of mistakes. To me, he's a very solid championship goalkeeper. He's not good in the Premier League because the mistakes he makes is, and this is like he's been in Brighton. The same thing happened in Brighton. He was sold or he was dropped. This is his second season in Chelsea. So you're talking about 3 seasons, 1 season in Brighton under the Italian guy, I forgot his name, who took over from Graham Potter. That you are talking about 3 seasons and he's not been better. You look at Petrovic, who Chelsea sent to Strasbourg, he's been solid. So with Chelsea have a lot of work to do. To me, a lot of job because now you look at Chelsea. One of the problems Chelsea has is that they don't have that player who knows how to break down defenses. They have Palmer, but Palmer has been struggling this season. But the good thing with Chelsea is that so many of their players have improved. Cucurella has improved. He's been scoring goals. And you look at Gusto. If you look at Cucurella and Gusto, both are good bumping forward. But look now, what is the problem with Gusto? The difference is that when Gusto is very good, has good recovery rates, very good has speed. But the problem is when he gets to the final third, his production is very, very bad. He's still a young guy. I think he's 22 this year. It shows you how young he is because this is the second season in Chelsea. Remember, he played for Leon. That means he must have started playing when he was 19. So he still has a lot of time It took Kukurea a long time before he. Kukurea is acting as a second striker. I think he had like 6 goals or 7 goals this season. So if there's any player you should learn from, it is Kukurea, how Kukurea has been able to redefine his game. That's good news. Enzo has done a good job. I was more of an Enzo out fan. But if I'm asked, even if Chelsea doesn't make the four, you keep the coach. I think you will need stability. You look at what Enzo has done. You look at the players. Yes, Palmer has struggled. Yes, but I knew Palmer would struggle the second season. That is why I never rated Palmer ahead of Saka because I always said that is his first season. The second season is going to be much more difficult because teams are going to mark him differently. Teams are going to defend against him differently. If he's a good player, he has to look for a way to be better. So he did it in the first season, in the first half of the season. He hasn't done it this season. I think he will do better. But you look at Palmer. Palmer has shot 120 times this season, and that is a lot. The last time someone did it at Chelsea, I think was Didier Drogba back under Carlo Ancelotti. So that tells you that's the problem I always have with Nicola Jackson. You have to shoot. You have to shoot. You have to shoot more. Now you look at Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez has done very good. He's been scoring vital goals. He's been anticipating the ball, going to the final third to score goal. Yes, his tackling is not all that solid, but he's shown the willingness to tackle. So I'll keep it. The problem I'm having with Enzo is a big problem because we all know that Caicedo plays better with Lavia. And Andres Santos, who is coming, is a very, very solid player. So where do you play Enzo? That's the problem. Because if you play a 4-2-3-1, you have Palmer in the center behind the striker. Enzo doesn't have a position because Andres Santos plays with Caicedo. So it leaves you to play 4-3-3. The 4-3-3 means Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, and then Lavia and the three in the middle. And then the other side, you have the Messino, the Brazilian who should be joining Chelsea at the end of the summer. That means Palmer has to play on the wing, on the right or on the left because it won't have that luxury. But let's go back to Nottingham Forest. The problem with Nottingham Forest is going to, I won't really say pack the balls. They are good in transition because if you look at them, apart from Arsenal, who have Saliba and Gabriel, to me, Nottingham Forest have the second best central defenders in the Premier League with Murilo and Milenkovic, the Serbian. So you look at those people and Olaino, who I think was the best right back in the Premier League last season. And then their left back, they've rotated the left back. They had the guy from Aston Villa who played for some time, and then they had Nat Williams or something like that, the Liverpool player. So, but you look at them, then Anderson has done very, very well. If I was Newcastle, I wouldn't have sold him. I would never have sold Anderson. I don't know what they were thinking because you look at the way Anderson is so good. People haven't realized it, that Anderson is so good playing the same deep defense that he can also play in the same. He can also play behind the striker. You can move him to play the same position that Morgan Gibbs White plays. So he's the sort of player, I'm not comparing with Caicedo, but there's some sort of players that are so solid that you can move them from deep midfield to the forward position, to the forward to attacking midfield, and they will do very, very solidly. So you look at Chelsea and Tottenham. On that day, Chelsea will have to attack because it's a winner takes all game. Chelsea is expected to beat Nottingham. If Chelsea doesn't beat Nottingham, then they kiss the Champions League goodbye because you're expecting Aston Villa. Aston Villa has the best fixture. They are playing Manchester United. You are expecting Aston Villa to win, and they are the same points with Villa. So Chelsea has to win that game. And Manchester City will come to Manchester City. Let's finish with Chelsea. So now Chelsea, Forest have played 18 games at home. They've won 9 times. That means their home turf is not very solid. They can lose. They lose games over there. Chelsea have been very good in the last 5 games. They've won 4 in their last. The last one was against Newcastle with Nicholas Jackson getting a red card. Chelsea would have avoided this if they had beaten Ipswich on that day. It was a 2-2 draw. It would have been better. Jackson gets sent off. And in reality, it's a good riddance because to me, unlike so many Chelsea fans, I'm not really bothered about Jackson. I feel it was necessary he got the red card that he got, even though it might cost us, because now we all know that he's not what he thought he or we thought he is. Right now, Chelsea we have to go and buy a striker. They should keep Jackson. He's good, but he's not yet there. I don't know how long you can wait for him. I don't know how long you can keep him, but there's a lot of promise. He can't be the top striker for Chelsea. He can be a secondary striker. You can play him on the left. He has a lot of promise. Two things I don't like about his game is his finishing. He doesn't take shoot enough. He doesn't shoot enough. He should be shooting frequently. His finishing doesn't know how to finish, and then he doesn't know how to be at the right place at the right time. And that is what Enzo Fernandez has been doing this season. Even as a defender, this season, Enzo has learned to be at the right place, and that is what you cannot teach. Some players grow into it. Jackson can grow into it. His hold up play, his ability to dribble, his ability to make space, his relentless pressing is solid. So don't sell him because how much are you getting from him? I think Chelsea he was signed for 35 million euros. They're selling now. You're looking at I'm looking at 55 or 60 might be too much, 55, but if you get a 55, who do you sign? He's giving 11 goals, so just keep him as a secondary striker. So he's good to be in Chelsea. So on that day, on the last day, I think I'll go for a win for Chelsea. Unlikely a win for Chelsea. Very difficult win. The last time I think it was a 1-1 draw for Chelsea with Ward Prowse sent off towards the end of the game. uh, Forest fought for a draw and they got the draw. I think it will be different this time, but it's going to be a lot more entertaining than Newcastle versus Everton because the two teams are better winning. You have a Langa who is very, very extremely fast and Hudson Odoya who attack. Morgan Woods, the New Zealand striker Woods he's struggling right now. He started very, very well. He scored some few goals, I think, last 2 games, but he's no longer, he was overachieving. He was actually overachieving. So I expect him to have a quiet day, except I don't think he's going to have an exceptional day. I expect him to have a quiet evening, but I expect a win for Chelsea. We go to Villa. Villa to me had the best fixtures because Villa came from the dead. Like they were so behind, but immediately they went out of the Champions League. They started winning games. Villa have won 4 times in the last 5 games. They should win United away. United is so bad. United have only beaten with the relegated trio of Ipswich, Southampton, and Leicester City since January. That means United have only won 3 games since January, and those 3 games are relegated teams. All the wins United have got, apart from relegation team, have been in December. And the irony of this whole thing is, you look at how they've played so well. I look at people criticize United. Yeah, but the problem people don't say, or the what I'm sure people don't say, they say United should be playing, they shouldn't be playing for in the Champions League if they beat Tottenham. Tottenham shouldn't be playing the Champions League if they beat United because they can't finish seventh. But you didn't say that beginning of the season. Everybody who has won the Europa League has been playing in the Champions League. So why is it that when it's United turn, they start criticizing? Instead of saying that, why don't you look at the Europa League? Why don't you say there might be a reason why every English team is doing well in European competition? Maybe it's because the English Premier League is so high that even the least team does very, very well in European competition. So why don't you look at it that way? So if you look at United in the European competition, United beat Bilbao in Bilbao, who are going to Bilbao, the final was going to play in Bilbao. They tried them, was it like 4-1? They destroyed them. So you can't really say United don't deserve to play that final, or if they win it, they don't deserve to play Champions League. They've been a different team in Europe and in the Premier League. I don't know what mental, I don't know what's the reason for that, but give it to them. So I expect Villa to win, but the problem is the problem is I expect Villa to win. So expect Villa to win. So let's go to the last one. Manchester City. City have 2 more games to play. They have Bournemouth. They have Fulham. I don't think Bournemouth is going to qualify for the champion for the Conference League. because the conference league, to play the conference league, Nottingham is occupying the last one as seventh in the conference league. So now they have very little to play. It depends on the Manchester City side who's going to play on that day, because City has been City, but it's so bad that if you check, City has had a miserable season this season. This is the worst City season in, I think, since this uh Abu Dhabi group or whatever have taken over City. I think apart from since they appointed Mancini, because under Marcus they struggled, but since the appointment of Roberto Mancini, I think this is their worst season, because even Manuel Pellegrini last season they qualified for the top four on the last day. But this season, but what the irony of this whole thing is, even when City has been this poor, they're still in contention to qualify for Champions League. So that tells you how formidable City has been over the years. That even in their worst season, even in a season where they've broken all negative records, it's like Pep is not in charge. They are still in contention to play the Champions League, as they still made it to the FA Cup. So that tells you how so many teams in the Premier League have regressed. That tells you that in the Premier League, it's only maybe Liverpool and Arsenal who have been in upward trajectory. That tells you that the likes of Manchester United, Chelsea have been downward slope. So I expect them to beat Bournemouth and Fulham, but it depends. I expect them to beat Bournemouth and Fulham. So who are my teams to qualify? I expect Newcastle to draw at Everton, Chelsea to win Forest, Villa to win Manchester United, and City to win Bournemouth and Fulham. So I tip Newcastle, I tip Chelsea, Villa, and Manchester City to make the top four. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. I don't know, but I hope Chelsea. I hope my Chelsea make it through. Um, uh, at the end of the season, we'll do a review, and then I'll suggestions on the players or transfer window, how it's going to go. But until then, please smash the like button, follow, subscribe, and drop your comments. Thanks, and have a good day.